reserved for the rarest of rare cases involving intent, given the manner of killing and the multiplicity of aggravating circumstances. He urged me to consider that he and the deceased have a son who is now as unable for the murder of Lucy Njambi, the deceased, that this is one of the rarest of rare cases where the death sentence is called for. But reminding the court that the death sentence is still in this minor. The first accused person is also recently married and has a daughter who is not yet 3 years old. He also asked me to consider that he is both asthmatic and hypertensive, and that the medical facility representing the Riruta Ward and does much to help the community. Mr. Mwangi submitted a mitigation attendance report with respect to her was filed by the probation department as requested by the court. The second accused person equally continued to protest her innocence, but the circumstances of this case, and in particular, the second accused person's involvement did not warrant the imposition of the death penalty, and urged the court to reserve for the most heinous of crimes, and that the totality of circumstances here, with respect to the second accused person's involvement, do not ration. Enforced on the 11th of April 2024 and filed in court on the same day. In the present case, the mitigating circumstances that have been legitimately B. Each of the accused persons is a family person with heavy family responsibilities. In the 15 or so minutes she was driven to Mugumoini off Kiambu Mugumoini Ruiru in her husband's vehicle. She had left her 4-year-old son in the apartment with a nanny. At Mugumoini, she was verbally assaulted, then sexually assaulted by one of the assailants before she was physically assaulted with sulphuric acid. She was then left for the dead. She died a day later in hospital. In a judgment dated 5th of April 2024, I found you, Samuel Ndungu, Joyce Njambi, and Wilson Mwangi, who I will call the 3 accused persons, guilty of the murder of the deceased on the 24th of January 2018. The judgment contains the graphic details of the murder, which are incorporated herein by reference. I'm now required to determine the appropriate sentence to impose on each of you, 3 accused persons. In order to determine the appropriate sentence, I must remember that the only purposes for which sentences may be legitimately imposed include to punish the offender to an extent and in a manner which is just in all of the circumstances, to deter the offender or other persons from committing offenses of the same or a similar character, to establish conditions which may facilitate the rehabilitation of the offender, to manifest the denunciation by the court of the conduct in question, and lastly, to protect the community. The family members who are present confirmed that their views were accurately captured in the pre-sentence report on record, and that they did not wish to address the court. The views of the family are captured in each of the pre-sentence reports. The grandmother of the deceased, Margaret Gashambi, who raised the deceased, decried the inhumane manner in which her granddaughter was killed. In views reiterated by all the other family members interviewed, including aunts and uncles, Shosho Gashambi stated that the family has never healed from the ordeal and have never forgiven the offenders. They simply do not understand how anyone could choose to harm the deceased, who they all describe as a peaceful and loving person. They hoped that, I quote here, justice will prevail for effective closure, I close quote. Nitahukumiwa kufungwa miaka 30 ambayo itaanza kuhesabiwa kutoka tarehe 5 mwezi wa 4 2024, sababu ndio wakati mlipo kwa corona. Sasa ningependa kuwajulisha haki zenu baada ya kumaliza hii kesi, kwa sababu sasa kesi imeisha na mmepatikana na hatia na mmefungwa miaka 30. Ningependa kuwajulisha kwamba mna haki na mna uhuru wa kukata rufani kwenye hii kesi. Lakini kulingana na sheria inatakikana mkaja kufani siku 14 kuanzia leo.
We feel like justice for Njambi has been denied. Because kusema mtu mwenye ameua amepatiwa miaka 30, hiyo ni wizi wa kisheria. We feel like angepatiwa death sentence kama wale watu wengine ambao wamepewa death sentence. You cannot kill a human being uende ukae miaka 30 urudi uwe mwingine. Muuaji ni muuaji. Akae forever uko jail na wauaji wenzake. Kwani yeye ni juu ya class, juu ya ni MCA. Tumeona kumbe venye watu wanasemanga the courts are being bribed. Ni ukweli hii koti leo imeongwa. Koti imeongwa. Koti imeongwa. Justice for who?
It's a very big shame na tumekuwa hapo hadi wakati walipatikana kwa guilty. Wanakuja wanasema wanawake amepatikana kwa guilty, anapatiwa lesser years. Our question is, kama duty bearer mwenye anafaa kuprotect ndio perpetrator wa femicide, sembuse Mkenya wa kawaida.
Ndio hiyo.
Tunaona watu wanafaa kuwa na put laws in place to protect hao wanaua wanawake wanatuua. And then koti mimi niuliza hii imeruliwa based on class. Mbona ya Monica Juma iruliwe venye iliruliwa na Njambi isipatiwe justice?
Exactly.
Huyu atarudi nje auwe msana mwingine. At least Njambi ilikuja nje. Na ukiangalia miaka imepatianwa is too less ukiniuliza.
Very less.
Mimi mwenyewe ni mwanaharakati but I'm not satisfied. Sisi wenyewe tuko hapa wanaharakati, kuna expect court ingetupatia at least hope ya kutuambia kuna rule of the law that needs to be followed. Sisi wenyewe tunaheshimu the rule of the law but we feel God may to betray.